Okay, today's video is going to be on Black Panther. Let's just go ahead and get into it. The plot, 8-6. So the plot for Black Panther, I feel like it's a very complex, you know, it's a plot that revolves around race, that revolves around status, that revolves around like a royal family, and it's definitely a lot more complex of a plot than other origin stories in the MCU, and really just other movies in general, because it's not like the team up movies or the sequels are that complex. So I feel like this movie introduces something that we're not really used to in the MCU, which is like actual plot, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of the other movies are just trying to like put characters in specific spots. I feel like this movie is very clearly trying to set up the character of Black Panther and tell an actual story. I feel like in other movies they're just trying to create something around the character that's appealing, and this movie focuses on the story first and then the character second, which I don't think, it's not like they're not valuing the character second. They're valuing the story a lot and the character a lot, and I feel like these other movies don't really try and do that. But yeah, that's what we got for the plot. Dialogue. 7-8. Like I said, again, it's a more complex plot than most origin stories in the MCU, but I'll definitely say that I think Killmonger and Ulysses Claw, they dumb the movie down a lot. Um, and I think Daniel Kaluuya's character, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I feel like his character kind of dumbs the movie down a little bit because he just makes such a big jump when he's talking to T'Challa about Claw, and about how he was just saying you're basically the same as T'Chaka because you didn't kill Claw either, you didn't bring him back either. I feel like we had to have that jump in logic from his character in order for this whole thing to spark, and for Killmonger to even be somewhere to be able to get into a spot where he can negotiate being a part of the power system, or a part of the royal family. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Again, I gave it a 7-8, so it's still above average. But I'm not wowed by the dialogue in this movie, mainly by Killmonger. I think T'Challa and Shuri, I think they do a really good job. Queen Ramonda, same. I actually really like the talk between I think it's T'Chaka and Njobu, I think is Killmonger's dad's name. Yeah, I feel like that scene was really good as far as the dialogue goes. But again, I kind of feel like Killmonger dumbs the movie down a little bit because of how, I don't know. He's like, I'm not gonna call him brain dead, but it's just like there's no, again, nuance. There's no nuance in his character. It's just all, I want the power, and I guess that comes with rage a little bit, which is, I mean, that is a large portion of his character, is that maybe he's blinded by rage, so he can't see the smaller details. But the way it comes off in the movie is it's more just, I feel like we need a little bit more depth from Killmonger, I guess is what I'm getting at. I feel like they kind of tried to speed through his story because we were focusing on T'Challa so much. I think this movie could have been a little bit longer, honestly. Um, but yeah. Anyway, let's get on to the acting. So again, dialogue and acting kind of go hand in hand for me a little bit, mainly because the lines you're delivering, end up being your performance in the movie. Again, props to Chadwick Boseman, props to Letitia Wright. Yeah, again, I think Michael B. Jordan. Like, look, I like Mickle. I like Michael B. Jordan in most things. If I'm being honest, I think he does a good job in the Creed movies. I liked him in Fruitvale Station. I'm trying to think. From what I remember in The Wire, he was good. But I mean, he was like a child actor in that. I'm trying to think about like other movies with him in it. Why am I blanking on Michael B. Jordan movies right now? I mean, Creed and Fruitvale Station, and then this is mainly what I know him from. I'm trying to think. Oh, I didn't watch the Fantastic Four movie. I'm probably glad I didn't, but I don't know. Anyway, you get my point. Props to Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace. But yeah. Cinematography. Cinematography in this movie. This movie looks great, especially when they fly into Wakanda. It looks amazing. The Wakandan labs look amazing. The Wakandan uh, mines look amazing. I think all of that looks good. The scenes in Oakland, especially in the scenes in their apartment, look good. So yeah, I think visually this movie is pretty stunning. I think the one reason it didn't get up to that 9 is because the final fight between T'Challa and Killmonger, whew, the CGI is bad. It is really bad. And look, they're like in these cat costumes flying around with, like, essentially the super soldier serum. So it's kind of hard to judge a scene like that because it's gonna look a little goofy anyway. But I feel like they could have done a lot better job. And I don't know if they rushed the scene as far as the VFX artists or whatever, but it did not look good. I feel like the other fight scenes in the movie actually did look good, but again, that's because they're not really relying on the superhero element except for the one scene wherever it was when they're chasing Claw. That looked good when he's like riding on top of the car and he's using the new suit. So yeah, that's it for cinematography. Soundtrack, we got 9-1. Soundtrack, I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, it's not the highest in the MCU. It's the third highest, but the only two that are higher than it are Infinity War and Endgame. And I feel like those movies, they just set the tone so well. It is tied with a couple of other movies, but again, I really think the soundtrack in this movie is it's just great. The original soundtrack for the movie is really good, and the added music. I mean, it's weird because they actually have two original soundtracks. One, the album by Kendrick Lamar, and the second, the other one being the Ludwig Göransson straight up. I'm pretty sure that's who did it. If I got that wrong, if it's not Ludwig Göransson, Jesus Christ, if it's not him, don't roast me for it, but I'm pretty sure it is him. Both of those albums are technically both original albums, actually, because the Kendrick Lamar album was made for the movie. So I guess this movie actually has two good original soundtracks, which is weird because normally there's an added soundtrack of curated music and then an original soundtrack. This movie just has two good original soundtracks. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the bonus ratings. We got comedy at 8, world building at an 8.5, characters at an 8.4, and action at an 8.7. So the highest out of all of them is the action. Again, I think if they would have just nailed that last scene at the end between Killmonger and T'Challa, I think it could be even higher, but it just looked a little goofy. Yeah. Anyway, so the total rating for Black Panther is 8.5. Yeah, I mean, it's on the higher end for the MCU. I think this movie is great, and it's especially like iconic. I think I forgot to mention the iconic grade. Um, yeah, that I gave it a 9.5 for iconic because I mean that it is that iconic. It is that big of a deal, mainly because of obviously what it means to like Black culture in America, and really the first time seeing like a big deal being made about a Black superhero. Obviously the Blade movies, I wasn't like alive or like old enough to see them if they did come out in my lifetime. But in my lifetime, this is the first time that a big deal is made about a Black superhero, and you could feel it when the movie came out, and you can kind of feel it when you rewatch it outside of the moment. But definitely at the time, I remember how big of a deal it was, like culturally for Black people. So yeah, 8.5 for Black Panther. It puts it in definitely the top 10 for the MCU. It's around the original Captain America, the original Avengers. Uh, it's a little bit lower than Doctor Strange. It is higher than Homecoming. Yeah, it's a good movie. Is my main point. So yeah, it's gonna be in the end of the review. Let me know what you guys thought about Black Panther the movie and what you thought about my review of the movie. Yeah, thank you guys for watching and peace.